Detention centres. I thought the whole point of the Rwanda issue that they had was about keeping people in locked detention centres and things like that.
People who've fled brutal regimes, oppressive wars, who are in limbo. They're not being processed.
The highest number of small boat crossings occurred in 2022 under the Conservative government. Watch as a Liberal defender drops this bombshell fact in a heated debate on illegal immigration, leaving his Conservative opponent scrambling for a response. What's really driving the migrant crisis? Is it the UK's military involvement in Iraq and Syria? Or is it simply economic migrants seeking better benefits? This fierce confrontation exposes the uncomfortable truths both sides try to hide. While politicians debate in comfortable studios, thousands risk their lives crossing the channel.
We know the crossing is dangerous, but we do it anyway because we know that that's the only option.
But who's really telling the truth about this crisis? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. The immigration debate has reached a boiling point in Britain, with battle lines clearly drawn. On one side, the Conservative voice thunders that the UK has become a magnet for economic migrants who see our shores as easy pickings.
Let's just look at the numbers that have come in. So 5,025 illegal migrants have come to this country so far this year.
The UK is being used and abused, the Conservative debater declares with unmistakable frustration, adding that the British public has had enough. It's a sentiment that resonates with many voters who feel their concerns about border security have been dismissed as xenophobic for far too long. The Liberal counterattack is swift and data-driven. They point out that 2022 saw a staggering 46,800 small boat crossings, the highest on record, all while the Conservatives held power. This inconvenient truth creates the first major clash point in the debate. How can a party claim to be tough on immigration when the numbers soared under their watch? It's the political equivalent of claiming you fixed the roof while standing in a puddle.
But they're part of the reason they can get so many people on board and the reason that they can cross this late in the year.
What's particularly revealing is the Conservatives' fixation on the Rwanda policy debacle. Their finger points squarely at the European Convention on Human Rights, which they argue has hamstrung Britain's ability to control its own borders.
Detention centres. I thought the whole point of the Rwanda issue that they had was about keeping people in locked detention centres and things like that.
We should leave the ECHR to independently control immigration, the Conservative insists, portraying the international agreement as a foreign obstacle to British sovereignty. The implication is clear. Britain can only resolve this crisis by breaking free from European legal constraints. The Liberal perspective shifts the focus to root causes, highlighting something rarely discussed in mainstream coverage: the UK's military footprint. According to their argument, 3 of the top 5 countries sending migrants across the Channel have experienced direct military intervention from Britain and its allies. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, places where British bombs fell, are now sending desperate people to British shores. It's a connection that complicates the simple narrative of migrants as opportunists. Yet the Conservative debater raises a question that many viewers find compelling. If safety is all these migrants seek, why pass through multiple secure European countries before risking death to reach Britain specifically? France, Germany, Italy, all safe havens with established asylum systems. These countries are safe, the Conservative points out, challenging the necessity of the perilous Channel crossing. This geographic reality undermines the purely humanitarian explanation. The Conservatives claim that the UK has become uniquely attractive due to its benefits system deserves scrutiny.
People who've fled brutal regimes, oppressive wars, who are in limbo. They're not being processed.
While the UK does provide support for asylum seekers, several European countries offer comparable or even more generous benefits. Germany provides higher cash allowances in many cases, while Sweden offers more comprehensive integration programs. The economic incentive argument doesn't fully explain the UK's apparent appeal. The emotional temperature of the debate rises dramatically when the Conservative flatly declares, "The UK is not a dumping ground." It's a phrase that captures the raw sentiment behind their position, a belief that Britain's generosity is being exploited.
Labour is considering plans to deport, now this is the devil's in the detail, failed asylum seekers, wait for this, to the Balkans.
Most migrants are coming to benefit themselves economically, they argue, suggesting that compassion is being manipulated by those with ulterior motives. The Conservative hammers this point home, claiming the British public has run out of patience, and asserting there is no public support for the current situation. Perhaps most controversially, the Conservative makes a distinction that cuts to the heart of the immigration debate. The UK has always taken in genuine people fleeing persecution, but these people are not genuine.
Is that they only are going to deport failed asylum seekers. That squares with Keir Starmer's belief, doesn't it?
Wow.
This statement reveals a fundamental difference in how each side views those crossing the channel, as victims or as opportunists. What's missing from mainstream coverage are the detailed demographics behind the crossing statistics. The data shows that 75% of those making channel crossings are men under 40. Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Iraq and Eritrea represent the majority of countries of origin, a mix of war-torn nations and authoritarian regimes. Nearly 90% claim asylum upon arrival. But approval rates vary dramatically by country of origin, with Syrians receiving protection in over 80% of cases compared to just 20% for some other nationalities.
They're not going to be removed, and all of that means that their accommodation costs will carry on rising.
This variance in approval rates suggests the system is making distinctions based on country conditions, contradicting simplistic narratives from both sides. The data reveals a complex reality. Some crossings are likely economic migration, while others represent genuine refugee movements. The truth lies beyond the polarised debate we see on television. When we strip away the posturing, both political camps have utterly failed to tackle immigration.
Actually given legal counsel.
Citing Article 8.
Yeah, sorry, citing Article 8, and that Rwanda was not a safe place for them to go to. That's why.
The Conservatives had years to address this crisis, but delivered nothing beyond empty rhetoric and a botched Rwanda policy. Meanwhile, the Liberal approach drowns in misplaced compassion that ignores legitimate security concerns. The answer isn't found at either extreme. As our debate revealed, we need an approach that balances security concerns and humanitarian obligations without sacrificing either. A policy that's firm yet fair, tough but principled. So I'll leave you with this. If neither mainstream party can deliver this balanced approach on immigration, who truly speaks for you?